This was a Boyd's Bear. Who'd have thunk? Selling a Boyd's Bear on Mercari. Sold for $9. And then I had 6 sales on Poshmark. And a lot of these are my old listings, which just, makes you wonder why I couldn't sell these on eBay, but they've been on Poshmark less than a month. And yeah, it said February 1st. So it's been like one day and it's sold on Poshmark. This is women's apron set. Picked it up at an estate sale, so hardly have anything in it. Sold for $13. Y'all, the Cloud Island striped elephant lovey. I think I just shared one. I think it's in the next video, the next haul video. I have another one of them because I just finished washing it. Sells every time I list it, and I've sold it, I think, a couple times now on Poshmark. This one sold for $25. Disney Ratatouille Chef Remy. This was one of those magnetic plush. Didn't realize at the time that I picked it up that it was missing the little plate. You stick them like under your shirt and then you can walk around with them on your shoulder. Sold for $9. 7 for All Mankind women's hemmed jeans. Sold for $13. Jellycat Rabbit Lovey. Yeah, those are something I'm going to pick up very much. It's one of the few Jellycats that just don't sell very well for me, although it sold in very quickly for me on Poshmark for $10. So the way Poshmark fees work, if you haven't sold on Poshmark, if your item is under $15, it's a flat $2.95 fee. So on this one, I would have made $7.05. Anything over $15 and up is 20%. It's like one of the most expensive fees if you're not promoting and all of that stuff on the other platforms. And then these Manhattan toy cloth baby dolls sold for $12. Welcome to our What Sold video. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today I'm doing the What Sold for last week, Monday through Thursday. I'm going to try to go back to doing 2 videos a week. It will be February 2nd through the 5th, Monday through Thursday. Sales were, I had one really good day. Sold several high dollar things, and then the other days were lackluster. Still holding out on promotions. Still holding out. So, it is what it is. We've made it through half a month. I really, really think having Nifty to do all the cross-listing right now is making a difference for us because I am selling on the other platforms. So I've got Mercari, Poshmark, Etsy, and eBay on my side to share with. Robert didn't sell anything in the other platforms, and then he has a few sales for eBay, his platform.
I don't have a lot on those platforms yet, and I'm taking Rebel's stuff, her toy stuff, out of my Mercari store and moving it over to her Mercari store. And the Poshmark stuff, I'm not deleting much from Poshmark, but what I've come to understand, people have made a couple comments. The big problem on Poshmark isn't removing stuff, supposedly.
Some people are saying it is.
And others are saying it's not. But it's canceling an order. Because
canceling or taking something down before the 60 days and then relisting it. Those are the big ones, but I am seeing people who are having problems removing stuff from Poshmark that's sold. I did see one lady, and I should have forwarded it to you, but one lady said she's had this happen a couple of times where she gets the suspension letter from Poshmark and she sends them a message that says, look, I'm according to your terms of service, you do not want me to cancel. So I am taking down these listings that have sold on other platforms because you are not my only platform. And she's been able to get reinstated. So if it happens to you or it happens to us, that's going to be the route. I mean, I'll send them copies of, my sold information from eBay to show that, we're following their terms of service. They do not want us to keep stuff on there that's not available to sell. So there.
And it used to be kind of our attitude was that those platforms were kind of a slow for us, but they're picking up since we switched over to Nifty. And would you say yesterday we had 7 sales in one day on the other platforms? So that's pretty good for us for what we've got listed there.
eBay's not being good for me this weekend. I might actually be more sales on the other platforms than eBay. Etsy's been the surprise for me, how well I've been doing on there. For as few sales as I do make on there, it's higher dollar stuff. Let's get back to it. Then I have 4 sales on Etsy to share with you. Sold this Eden Baby Tunes plush elephant for $39.95. Hallmark Crayola Bunny Rabbit plush sold for $19.95. Picked this up in that lot of Little People that I picked up at a local thrift store. I paid $65 for several boxes, lots of them, a lot of accessories. I sold 2 of the cars for $100 and up. So, I mean, I'm way into the profit. This was the bridge arch for the Play Family Village, sold for $19.95. And then this was a nice sell. Dynamals Dino Cat plush from 2000, sold for $79.95. And then eBay. Now again, this is February 2nd through the 5th. Sold this brass elephant light for $10. Slowly but surely getting rid of the last of the brass that we had. Will I still pick it up? Probably. If we can get it for a really good deal, then I would. But like at the bins, they're kind of heavy, so it's probably not something I would pick up at the bins. These are just a box lot that I had. I think it was a lot of like cake decorating stuff that I picked up at an estate sale. These were just little teeny tiny plastic baby dolls made in Hong Kong, sold for $15.25. Gund God Bless baby doll. I call these the My First Dolls. Probably not something that I would continue to pick up. It has been listed since before 2023. Finally sold $8.96. Just finished this puzzle. It is one of the Jan Van Hasteren jigsaw puzzles, 1,000-piece, and sold for $17.95. I remember picking this one up at the bins. Normally the boxes are big for the Jan Van Hasterens, but this was just a small box. But yeah, sold very quickly, $17.95. I thought this was going to be better. Larger plush. It is Chuck E. Cheese, but he ended up, if I'd have looked at the tag, I would have known he wasn't vintage. The more contemporary stuff, it sells, but not for a whole lot, like the vintage. This is Jasper T. Jowls, the hound dog, and he sold for $10.11. All right, Fisher Price Little People. This was a lot of 10, sold for $24.25. McCoy white ceramic tall mugs. These, again, have been listed forever. I remember picking them up at a yard sale, probably 50 cents or $1 each. Sold for $10. McDonald's Funny Fry Friends Pirate Lot. These were all the same one. I think these were in with the bunch of stuff that we bought last year at the estate sale where I bought all the Sasha dolls. These 5 were all the same, sold for $12. I just didn't want to list them one with a quantity of 5. All right, TL Toys. It's a brand I pick up once in a while. Just especially like this one. It was made out of that nylon parachute material. Puff-a-lump, but not a puff-a-lump type plush. And it sold for $44.96. Applause Bravo Fluffy Tan Bear. Yay, another bear is gone. Sold for $12. This was just from the recent estate sale that we went to. This was in the smalls. I paid We went one day, 50 cents each. The next day, all the smalls were 25% off. They still haven't done their half off sale, so hopefully that's going to be maybe this weekend. I'd like to go back and get probably some more of the stuff, especially the toys. But this was by Tiger, and it was called a CompuKitty Gigapets. It did work. I have pictures of just varying screens to show that it was working, and it sold very, very quickly. I think the same day I listed it, $31.46. Black Dog Puppy Dog Purse sold for $13. I like picking up the plush purses. All right, unfortunately, I want to say I paid $7 or $8 for this, and it didn't work right. It made sounds, the head moved, the ears moved, but it was supposed to roll over. I went and watched several YouTube videos, and it just wasn't working right. But I knew I could still sell it at a profit, so I went ahead and showed a video of it working. Just stated in the listing that, it's not rolling over. Maybe there was something I needed to do. I just couldn't figure it out. Still sold very quickly for $40. Cow toy, dogs and cats, I'll usually pick up something very unique, maybe clowns, something like that. Not a brand I pick up very often anymore. Sold for $8.96. Most cats and dogs I pick up. FAO Lion Plush, larger, sold for $12. Teddy Bear Company, gray, made in the USA, bear. Another bear, $13.72. I thought at first at the beginning of the year I was going to try to go ahead and purge some more of, especially like the bears. But you know what? Slowly but surely they're selling. So I'm just going to hold on to the inventory I have and hopefully get a lot of this stuff still gone this year. All right. Not a big sale, but it was a cute little Cabbage Patch Kids vintage Christmas ornament. Ended up taking an offer of $6.25. But I probably only had 10 or 15 cents in it. It was just a very light little piece. Boyd's Bear. Again, Boyd's Bear sold on eBay. Not a lot, $8.06. I have been making lots as I come across this type of stuff going on Nifty, cross-listing. Stuff like this I've been delisting and trying to make lots out of it with other stuff. And hopefully, I'm going to move a lot of this older stuff. These next three saved the week. Big, big sales. First one was these Kenner Strawberry Shortcake, Pup Cake, and the dog, and Custard the cat. They were from 1980. I think I picked this up at the same estate sale where I picked up all those kitty kittens that time. Was $1 each. And I ended up selling the two of these for $89.95. The little people, I showed when I did the haul video on these, they had already sold. So those of you who've watched that haul video know these were just two little Disney clip-clop figures. Ariel and the Prince Eric had the little bridge. That was the bonus. And there actually was supposed to be a little feeding thing that goes, to feed the horses. But y'all, these were in a plastic bag sitting in the bins in St. Louis. And I snatched them right up. I knew. I thought at the time they were going to be worth $50 or $60. They are just rising in price. And I ended up selling the two of them, I think the same day I listed them, on an offer of $100. But not even the best one. And I've already talked about this one too in the haul video because it sold instantly. The Tyco Kitty Glamour Kittens plush with the display box from 1992. Took a best offer of $210. Now I did pay up for this. I paid almost $58 for it at the estate sale that we just went to, 2 weeks ago, and then it got snowed out, and we haven't been able to go back for the half price sale. But
It was an expensive estate sale, y'all.
very expensive. But I didn't buy it the first day, but I talked myself into going back, and if it was still there, I was going to go ahead and pick it up. Honestly, I didn't think it was going to sell for this much, but I had several comments in the video saying, I was thinking I was going to list it for, 180 or 200. But I went higher, and it sold on an offer very, very quickly. So yay, that really saved the week. All right, and then for Robert, 6 sales to share with you. First were these Columbia women's quilted insulated boots. I had bought them for me and didn't quite care for them. Sold for $18. Amethyst distressed flare jeans sold for $17.71. Silver jeans Suki boot cut sold for $14.52. Making these coats gone. This was a Rivers End extra large coat, sold for $24. Lee women's jeans vintage sold for $13.51. And last but not least, American Eagle women's favorite boyfriend jeans sold for $20. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Just ideas of things that are selling for me right now.
Y'all dang women need to quit returning crap.
He just finished up with 5 returns and got 2 more this weekend. I hate to see your percent right now. But they're all returned, doesn't fit, ordered mistakenly. They've all been those, so at least, thank goodness, we don't have to give back the original shipping. But dang, I'm sorry. Not sorry, but I'm so glad most of the clothes are out of my store. Because y'all, it killed me last year. What did we end up saying? I had 61 returns last
Something
year.
like
Like 61. More than one a week.
But it's all women. Knock it off.
You're going to get in trouble. Get him.
I know I'll be in trouble.
Get him. Hi, y'all. It's rainy. It's cold. I'm going to take a few pictures and call it a day. Bye.